Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our ViewPoint. This is Tommy McDonald from MarshBerry. I, like most of you, have been working the past 4 to 5 weeks, currently set up in my makeshift home office. So I'll apologize in advance for any kids screaming or dogs barking in the background. I know many of you have been following our daily blogs as we continue to do our best to bring relevant content to the marketplace during this very challenging and unprecedented time. Today, I'm very excited to welcome Justin Hoffman and Erica Mullin from PSA, a top 100 property casualty and employee benefits firm in the Mid-Atlantic. So I think it's important, Justin and Erica, if you guys wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about you, your role within PSA, and certainly anything else you think would be relevant for the audience.
Sure, happy to do that. Tommy, thanks so much for having us here today. I really enjoy the series, and we're thrilled to be a part of it. So I'm Justin Hoffman. I've been with PSA about 12 years now. Have a background in advertising and other forms of financial service companies. I oversee sales management and marketing for the firm, and looking forward to the discussion today.
Thank you. Erica?
Hi, I'm Erica Mullin. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Communications at PSA. I have been at PSA just under a year, and my background largely consists of marketing in the digital space.
Thanks, guys. So why don't you just start with probably what everybody's wondering. Give us a sense of how the organization has adapted to what's happened over the past 60 days.
You know, Tommy, for the most part, I feel like we've adapted well. Most of the core systems that we use every day to take care of our clients, to run our accounting systems, to manage our prospecting efforts, we're all cloud-based SaaS systems, and people were familiar with working with them both in the workplace as well as on the road and on occasion at home. So I'd say that like the core systems were fine, and everybody could kind of get access to the tools that of the trade. Everyone has a laptop, so fortunately that was kind of all in place for us. The interesting part is the part that was a change and required some adaptability was really around collaboration. So we kind of have the luxury of having almost all of our employees at one location. We have 3 offices, but the vast majority are at our home office. So you can drive by, you can pop in, you can grab one of our 7 conference rooms, or just grab a cup of coffee with someone in the PSA cafe and collaborate and get things done. And that's where things got a little bit bumpy for us. And fortunately, our IT team was kind of ahead of the curve here. They had recently upgraded us to Office 365. And most people didn't know it, but we had great tools that existed within that suite. We just weren't using them to the degree that we needed to. So in short order, people's attitude changed from like, oh, this is just another thing for me to learn, and who has time for this, to I better learn this today, because it's critical for me to collaborate with these teams of people that we have to take care of our clients and to get work done. So IT was definitely the unsung heroes of the group. And fortunately, we had a few kind of champions within PSA, like Erica, who kind of grabbed the reins and led the charge when it comes to Teams, Live, some of the other tools. Erica, I'm not sure if you want to add a little commentary about that.
Sure. So I think the marketing communications team really embraced technology sooner than most other teams did when we deployed Office 365 earlier in the year. So making this transition to a virtual work environment, we were really set up for success because we were already using the tools and we were experts in the tools that the company now had to rely on. So our teams really kicked in and helped other teams within the organization get up to the learning curve and get up to speed on how to implement best practices for other teams. So I was really proud of my team for that.
Absolutely, and I'm interested, Justin and Erica, in the sales process you guys have adapted to. Now, just by way of background, for those that don't know PSA well, an organization that I would classify as well ahead of the curve in being able to do true marketing, branding, and advertising virtually. So can you give the audience some sense of how you guys have adapted or changed or not changed your sales process over the past couple of months?
Yeah. We're kind of built for this somewhat, as you kind of suggest there, Tommy. A long time ago, we just really saw a convergence of marketing, sales, and technology. We just saw them all coming together, and about 10 years ago, just found that if we're not talking, when we're talking about building our business, if we're not talking about all three working in unison, that's just, we're missing out, right? And so that commitment was made a long time ago. For sure, in this industry, we believe producers will always have an important role. But we think it's our job as marketers, as technologists, to do everything that we can to power them up, to make them more efficient, and to add velocity and volume to their pipelines through supplementing all of the traditional producer efforts that everyone has done for many, many years. Depending on which industry expert you might ask, you'd hear, you'd need to do 12 to 20 touch points to get the attention of a prospect, and maybe it's higher than that now. But what we say is, what if we can supplement a lot of those? What if we can do a lot of those through our marketing engine and powered up by our CRM and our other tools, and supplement those? So again, it's really just adding some fuel and a supercharger behind what the producer is already doing. And that takes kind of three forms. And Erica, you might want to comment on how we do it.
Sure. I mean, I think we really pull prospects, into we really have a demand gen strategy, using content as the source, and content allows us to really pull prospects through web searching, push messaging through social media or our website or email. And it really arms producers with customized tools to use just at the right time to capture a prospect's attention. And
so
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and we kind of decided to run on a content platform quite a while ago. And it was before we really even had a good understanding of how these tools exactly worked. But we kind of fell into it through our PSA partnership program, which is an event series that we created. Interestingly, it was born out of the Great Recession. So back in 08, 09, we were getting bad news calls from our clients just like we are today, right? So people who are facing adjustments to their staffing models, to their teams, revenues taking a hit, thinking about taking vehicles off the road, everything that you start to see in an economic slowdown. And we were seeing these really well-run businesses, these respectable business owners that have always done all the right things that were just like caught up in this tsunami. And we just felt we had to do something to invest in them, something to help them. And after a lot of thinking through and bringing our leadership team together, we kind of landed on, well, probably the most efficient way to help a business is to invest in their leadership. And so we looked at who we could bring together to invest in those leaders to make them better. And we reached out to, generally at first, the people that we knew that were good business consultants that could, lead seminars on negotiations, on operational efficiency, things of that nature. And then it grew over time. So 20 or 30 person gatherings became 100, became 200. And our speakers started to become people like Dan Pink and representatives from Zappos and the Ritz-Carlton talking about customer service. And so we just started to recognize that if you can really tap into what people need to hear at the time and invest in them, you get a tremendous response. And that just kind of like pushed us along this journey of embracing content and really being that content source for our clients and for the business community at large.
Yeah.
Erica, Justin, have you guys seen an uptick in some of the content series stuff that you've been able to deploy virtually over the past couple of months?
A crazy uptick. Yeah. I mean, since sort of the shift to a virtual work environment for the world, we have staged 3 virtual webinars. One is actually a partnership series webinar that we took from, being hosted in our office to being hosted virtually. And we had the most registrants we've ever had for
Wow.
a partnership event. We had over 350 people register to attend. And then we also staged up 2 webinars to support our clients and prospects with delivering information around coronavirus as it pertains to employee benefits, and it also pertains to commercial lines. So for both of those webinars, we had, hundreds of people register for each, and the turnout was greater than we could ever have imagined. So I think people are hungry for information. They're looking for information during this time, and they're looking for people to really provide that from an authoritative and trusted, reliable source.
Absolutely. And you guys mind talking briefly about how you guys have been able to mobilize your marketing team? I mean, who's involved in helping push some of these initiatives along as you're all working from your home offices?
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody. And it really starts with our people who support our clients, right? If you want to do a webinar based on frequently asked questions, you have to talk to those people who are fielding those questions every day. So fortunately, we have strong consultants on both sides of the house. We have managers who understood that it would be far more efficient to scale our knowledge through today's modern marketing tools and communications platforms to supplement what they were already doing in their one-on-one conversations. And so started with the teams gathering up all the Q&As that were kind of critical and us synthesizing and building thematic structures around them and building out the webinar very quickly. And then fortunately, a lot of the tools that we had invested in for years were built to integrate with GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar platforms.
Absolutely. And we just to give you some perspective on our client base and ultimately the audience, I think you guys would probably agree that you push the limit on marketing, branding, sales, and technology as a combination. Any words of wisdom for the average firm? And I think you know enough firms, Justin and Erica, from your interactions through our relationships that most firms don't make that big of an investment. So you guys are going to come out, I think, on the other side of this in a really good spot with your clients and your prospects. Any words of wisdom for the general industry as they sort of try to tackle a virtual sales environment?
Great question. And like pretty much everything in businesses like ours, there had better be executive buy-in, right? So if the people that own the firm and run the firm believe in it, that must be in place. If it's half-hearted in their support of what all needs to go into these systems, it's going to show, right? So people follow the leader. And so it's an understanding of like, what results do you want in the end, and then being able to re-engineer what are the investments we need to make in order to get there. And it's, I will tell people, it's not just writing the check for the software. It is a never-ending commitment to the data.
Yeah.
Right? Because these systems can't work unless you put fuel in the race car. And so it's like every human that touches prospects, clients, individuals needs to be on board with the fact that it can't run without that data in there. And so the great thing is that, more and more these days, people are embracing these tools. They are moderately more affordable than they had been. There's some really good tools out there that can do double duty, like a HubSpot, that can do CRM plus marketing automation. So there's a lot to choose from. But I do think that you got to have a kind of look in the mirror moment and make sure like we really want to do this, because if you go at it 80%, you're going to have a hard hill to climb.
Right.
Absolutely. Erica, anything else to add to that from your perspective?
I think automation is really important, trying to give minimal responsibility to humans to do low value tasks, using tools to help you work smarter, not harder, like data scrubbing, mass data import, and extractions can be done using technology, not people with fingers on keyboards. And I think that can really make an impact.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit before we wrap on patience. Give us a sense of your guys' commitment, the 2009, 2010 timeframe, and really when you felt like you guys were pushing positive momentum relative to this initiative?
Yeah, so I think patience is fueled by wins, right? Like you get a little victory and you feel good and you see it working. So I would say you need to stand close to the target, aim carefully, and hit the target, and then take a few steps back and repeat. I think that pilot programs are great. I think that you are going to find people within your organization who get excited about these kind of ideas, and they understand this is where it's at, because either they a lot of times came from elsewhere and those companies already had it and they enjoyed the fruits, or they look around at their competitors and feel like, well, they got a race car, I got a bicycle, I want to catch up, right? And so they want to be part of the solution. So find those people who bring the energy to the equation, people who have something to say, something to share to clients. Maybe you have someone who has a specialty in a certain industry, or they're really deep when it comes to a topic like cyber, and sit down with them and extract from them the message that they want to share, and find, use your platforms to distribute that and to help amplify their voice and their message. That's going to get people excited. And then you can point to your case study and say, I want to do for you what I did for Susan, right? And so that gets people to see it a lot more. That would be something that I would suggest when it comes to patience and making sure that, because if you try to do it all at once, it can be quite challenging. The other side of it is measure and share your good news stories with people.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, I really appreciate you hopping on a call despite the circumstance, and I'm sure you guys are as busy as ever. I appreciate you guys hopping on so quickly, and I look forward to hearing the continued success throughout these challenging times.
Tommy, it was our pleasure. Thank you so much for thinking to invite us. We love what you're doing here with all of your great messaging and all of your marketing and the way you make your constituents better because they have a relationship with you and all of your great research and talented people. So getting the nod from you guys meant a lot to us. So
thank you very much. And we'll definitely have you back.
We're down.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. And just a quick reminder for those participants that like to stay up to date on our topics, www.marshberry.com/subscribe. Thank you.